There is just so much I want to tell you about our guest today. He's the founder and 30-year veteran CEO of SaverSystems, a manufacturing company in Richmond, Indiana. He's a certified professional coach, a speaker and writer. He's a grandfather. He's even an avid sailor. But perhaps more than anything else, what I want you to know about this man is how much he cares about the lives of small business owners. Taylor and I have had the honor of speaking at his annual business summits for a few years now, and every year we just learn so much from him, and every year he pours himself into the men and women who attend, holding nothing back. Those that he has mentored have gone on to mentor countless other people, which is probably the highest recognition that any leader could receive. And today we are so fortunate to have him with us right now for what I know is going to be a great conversation. So Proud Nation, please welcome to the show, John Meredith. Hi, John.
Wow. I'm not that impressed with myself, but Carter and Taylor, well, it's an honor to be here with you. I appreciate you guys so much.
You know, you've done so much in business, and I know that you've grown a really successful manufacturing business. And I'd love to talk to you a little bit about that journey. Who were you in the beginning when you decided this is what you wanted to do? And was it a straight line for you in terms of success, or, talk a little bit about some of that history with you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like, we're all put on the planet for a purpose and destiny. I think the big struggle we have is, in life is kind of figure out, what our purpose and what our destiny is. And you kind of have this, sometimes I think if you're open to it, the universe kind of puts you in that spot, and, you have to seize the moment. And for me, I got out of college in 1980, and interest rates were 20%, and there wasn't any jobs. And my dad happened to have some influence with the mayor, and he said, "Hey, you can be a firefighter if you want. You don't make any money, but you get a paycheck every 2 weeks, whether you want it or not." And I said, "Sign me up." And from there, I started a chimney sweep business. And then one of the things that drew me to that business was, so I had 10 years or 9 years as a service company. And then one of the things that drew me to that was I thought, this is a pretty young industry. I bet if I get into this, I could probably find some areas that need to be innovated, and some things I could do that would enhance the lives of, my customers and maybe benefit chimney sweeps as well. And so, I kind of missed the whole computer paradigm thing that happened back in the 80s. One of my classmates, went on to sell his business to Sprint for $600 million. And so
Whoa,
I had my head stuck in chimneys, but, that was, I think what God has for you is what's for you. So, I really felt like some of this stuff was kind of downloaded to me, but I knew this is why God put me on the planet. And so I just kind of ran with it. And so, I've been kind of doing it, trying to be faithful to it for 30 years. And what really gets me excited about life is to see other people walking in their purpose and destiny, and, really just taking whatever mountain that they're on, whatever business you're in. I believe you're there for a purpose, and that you're supposed to be successful in that. And so what I see is a lot of people getting, thrown off course by, maybe limiting beliefs or assumptions that they made or lies they believed about themselves. And like, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, or whatever it is. Or maybe it's something that some limiting belief, or that's limiting their success, or something like that. There's something usually standing in the road that's either internal or external blocks that really prevents them from really walking in the fullness and potential of that business that they're in. And so one of my purposes in life is to kind of help guys identify that and overcome that. And so I've been fortunate enough. I've got we have a manufacturing business. I hired a president back in 2009, and I spend a lot more of my time coaching and mentoring, and I'm also teaching leadership and entrepreneurship to guys, or just come alongside them and helping them, maybe for months or days, or at these conferences that I do, these business summits I do, which are probably the most amazing thing I've ever
They
experienced.
really are.
I don't know how to duplicate. They're more like tent revivals.
Yeah, they are.
It's hard to describe it, but usually there's tears, and it's just one of those things where hey, I got stuff, but it's okay, because I can take that stuff and I can make that part of, your mess becomes your message, and so many guys, they have good intentions, they start a business, and they just screw it up because they don't, it's not something we learned in school. And if you don't have a parent or uncle or somebody that kind of mentors you through some of these things, starting a business and becoming an entrepreneur and being a leader is very challenging. And so that's why I love about business owners. I love about it's just being vulnerable with each other, and how do we help each other? Because at the end of the day, it's all about who we loved and who loved us, and what we did to help others along the way.
One of the things that I hear from a lot of the guys that you've helped is they talk about your leadership style. And I've been around you enough to know it's the style that I particularly like. In fact, I love it, which I call servant leadership. So can you talk about that a little bit, about the difference of how leaders are really meant to serve those around them? A lot of people are stuck in the authoritarian type leadership style. And there's a definite difference between that and being a servant leader. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Well, one of the things, I'm a master practitioner of something called energy leadership, and I think you guys were exposed to it a little bit at Aileron and at the conference that we were at together in this summer. And I'm, if you learn energy leadership, basically is a concept where we all have predominant modalities of leadership, and so, but just being, and sometimes it can be a victim mode which was kind of a level one. It's there's a catabolic. There's two basic levels of energy that people predominantly present. One's a catabolic, which is kind of a destructive energy, and that's really where you have victim mentality, or oh, everything's always wrong, and I can't do anything right, or the world's a mess, and it's not my fault. And then you have the other catabolic energy, which is a level 2 energy, which is predominantly where most work environments are and most people live. A lot of families are in this level 2 area. It's just it's kind of it's anger, it's like, or you kind of motivate people by coercion and force, and it's I win and you lose, and then you have a level 3 type of energy, where it's more of a anabolic energy, which is a more life-giving, constructive type energy. And this is where most of the successful leaders are, and somewhere at level 3 through 7. And I kind of present in level 4, and none of these levels are good or bad. It's just, if you're in kind of a level 1 or level 2 energy leadership modality, if you will, you'll burn out. There's some pretty successful people in level 2. Anger is a good motivator, or you can use, you can kind of coerce people and cajole them, and, kind of push them in areas for so long. But it's kind of an I win, you lose kind of a thing. And eventually that style of leadership is going to burn out, and an organization will implode. And I feel like, and I'm a level 4 leader predominantly, and the level 4 leader is mostly, there's some disadvantages to this style of leadership too, but it's mostly the predominant thought is you win and I win if you win. So I'm always looking for you to win. So, which, is good. Your strengths taken to an extreme sometimes become your weaknesses. So you can become, this is where, you will have people sometimes will take advantage of you. But it doesn't really affect you, because, I kind of believe that whatever you put, behind you, you're putting in front of you. So, it's, but you will find yourself somewhat more vulnerable as servant leader, I think, because people don't always reciprocate. And then the level 5 leader is more of a win-win, and that's kind of where I like to. I'm kind of making a conscious level to find more win-wins, and in that. So that's kind of where I like to predominantly lead from, as a servant leader, level 4. Looking for level 5 opportunities is kind of the style that kind of comes naturally to me. And a lot of very successful organizations live in that space. There's a couple other levels of leadership, level 6 and level 7 that, like level 6 leaders are able to kind of tap. You're able to tap into, your really creative genius, and really, this is kind of like a Stephen Jobs was able to obviously go there quite often. Brought us so many great innovations in computer science, and the iPhone and all the Apple products were, just amazing that he was able to tap into some of that stuff and build a team around him of people that were really able to just really reinvent our world as we know it. And then level 7 is, kind of like, it's something you don't really resonate at, but it's kind of like watching a beautiful sunset, just getting caught up in it. It's not something you really lead from a practical level, but it's certainly certainly you're able to experience, the birth of a child or
it's those
a
peak,
just kind of like your peak, like, whoa, this is really cool.
Luminous moments in life that you just take in and go, wow, this is like a summit moment here.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of energy leadership. Now, I teach an energy leadership development system where we talk a lot about, there's 12 segments to it. And I don't think you guys have been exposed to this, because I haven't really done this in any of the summits. But we flesh out, what's truly important to you, and help you develop your personal mission statement and your business vision, mission, and values, your goals, short-term, mid-term, and long-term. And we help you with 7 levels of leadership that I just described. And, just identifying maybe some of their strengths and gaps, and becoming, the ideal leader for you, kind of what fits your style, and, how to better know your giftings. And, the other thing is, segment 4 talks about removing barriers. We all have these things, these inner blocks that are really keeping us from what we want. Because, when you think about it, we all take up about the same amount of mass, except I'm picking up more mass these days than I used to. And then we all have the same amount of time, so what really differentiates us is our thinking, our beliefs, our assumptions, our interpretations of life and the things around us, and the things we believe about ourselves, sometimes, which are things that, the universe kind of throws at us to kind of give us those challenges that we get to overcome. But until we overcome them, we get stuck, and we don't really receive everything that I believe, we're supposed to walk in and receive. So does that make sense at all?
It does. It's I kind of tell people it's the business, the game of business is pretty much all in your head. I mean, it's dealing with your beliefs about who you are and about who other people are. Business isn't one of those things that's separate from life. Business is the crucible of life. It's like life on steroids. It's where you learn some of the biggest lessons about what your limitations are and the areas that you need to improve. The only other area I can think of in life that mirrors that is parenting.
Well, exactly. I mean, all this leadership stuff, right? I mean, it's made me a much better parent, a much better father, a much better grandfather, a much better, spouse.
But we think of business a lot of times in terms of, well, I want my business to be more successful, so I'm going to apply a lot more energy and thinking into my marketing or into my products. And I mean, those are all important things, but a lot of times the thing that is preventing growth more than anything else is, we need to stop and work on us. We need to stop and think about what is it, what areas can I free up the logjam just in terms of my mindset, in terms of my beliefs, in terms of, my leadership of other people, and taking time to go in and think about those things has a huge effect on the bottom line in ways that that simply focusing on the material things like products and marketing messages and, ad spend and those things really never will address.
Well, you're so true, Carter. I mean, what I find is, we revert to those things because they're easy and we can do them. We know but when you get into that ooey gooey part of the world where you're talking about feelings and emotions, and that's not something that, really comes easy to people, and then you don't know how to get over these blocks. You don't know, why you believe these things about yourself. Like, one of my things that always kind of held me back was I didn't feel like I was smart enough, and it was just a lie that I believed about myself for a long time, but it held me back.
Yeah.
And, so like when you're able to get hold of that soft side and really kind of help and you need someone to kind of guide you through some of this, because, I always say, you are the expert of you. And if you don't have the answers, it's because you haven't been asked the right questions. And that's what a good coach can do, can challenge you with the right questions so that you discover the answers that are within you. And then once you do that, you become aware of it. Yeah. Once you're aware of it, you can change it, and you can really recreate, your business, your family,
yes,
in your life.
Well, and then
it's really amazing.
You become aware of it too in others, and you become able now, because of the strength of having walked through that yourself, you're now able to turn out and help other business owners figure some of those things out and mentor them through that process. And I know that's something you've been able to do. One of the subtitle of our book, Blue Collar Proud, is "The World Needs You to Be Strong." And it's a book written for blue collar business owners. But the idea is behind the book is, look, it's not just about building a better business that gives you everything you want in life so that you can be fat and happy and sit on an island somewhere. It's so that you're strong enough to be able to help your employees live their best life, so that you're strong enough to be able to help the families of those employees rise above the life limitations that they've set for themselves. It's so that they can turn outward and help their community do the same thing. It's so that your business, your little plumbing business in a small town USA, has the ability to impact hundreds of lives and lift everyone up. That's why the world needs you to be strong. And if you're not looking at your business as a tool to do that, then you're really selling yourself short of your true potential and what you really want to do with your life. And so, I mean, talk about, you've done something truly amazing. And I don't think, maybe you recognize this, maybe you don't, but so few people have been able to grow a business intentionally and work on themselves to the point that they can get out of their own way enough to then step back out of the business and take the strength of some of the things that they've learned and then help other people and mentor them. Talk a little bit about the importance of mentoring. I know that for you, that's a big purpose thing for you. It's a big reason why you get up every day, is to be able to help others do some of the things that you've been able to do. But talk about the importance of that mentoring relationship.
It's interesting because I just recently, I'm surprised I'm writing a book too. But one of my mentors is a guy who's on the Forbes 400 list. I won't mention his name. You would probably know him, at least know of his story anyway. And he, and I asked him that question. What has mentoring meant to you, and how has that helped you? And a number of things came from that, but it was such a parallel in my own life. I feel so fortunate. I've had men like this, and I don't know how or why, but they've just come alongside me and built into me over the years. And I had one guy who, he was, his name's Harry Donovan. He's an older guy and in his 80s. I met him at a CEO conference one time. He said, I don't know why, but I feel like I'm just supposed to build into you, and share with you whatever I can share with you that might help you. And so we had a relationship. We still have a relationship. I just called him the other day. But Harry was, he retired when, he was 40 years old, he had a seat on the stock exchange. He was worked for Nixon, had thousands of people working for him in the government. And he's on the board of 40 different publicly held companies. And privately held businesses that, over the years. And he's just kind of a real sought after, he's a CPA at a very successful CPA firm, did a lot of mergers and acquisitions. And anyway, he sort of retired when he was like in his early 40s, right? He moved to Marco Island, where there's 7 people that lived on the island at the time. He started buying up all this land. So, I mean, here he kind of falls off a pumpkin wagon and makes, $10 million. So he's one of those guys. Just love the guy. But he's a salt of the earth, wonderful person. And so when guys like that take the time to build into you, I said, well, Harry, what can I do to pay you back? And he said, well, you can just help other guys and tell them it's from Harry. So I help other guys whenever they're kind of, whenever I can. And I tell them, hey, this is from Harry.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's awesome.
So I feel so, we each of us can only give what we've been given.
Yes.
And so I feel like I've been given so much that, I have to share it. I have to give it away.
And I
have to give back.
I find that is really true of you, very definitely. But you've passed that on to a lot of people as well, because I think that there was a movie said "Pay It Forward," and I think that is a great lesson for all of us. Not only for us to pay it forward into individuals, but I think we need to pay it forward into our customers and client base. And I know that that's something that you've done, John. Talk about how you paying it forward and helping your customers, how that helped build SaverSystems, because I think that's a unique perspective that you have of how that really helped your company and the reputation that built, because SaverSystems just has a very unique and wonderful reputation in the industries that you serve.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. What we try to do, one of the things we really try to hard focus on the success of our employees, and which kind of trickles down to our customers. I know you guys have talked about some of this in the past, but we hard focus on on basically loving up on our employees and being and our customers. We really want them to be successful. We get up every day and we do what we do to help them solve problems for their customers and help just enhance their lives. And, one of the biggest joys in life I get is when a customer says, Meredith, because of the stuff you guys do for us, not only the products, but the selling systems you give and the support you give and the tools that you give us to communicate those with our customers, we're able to take your stuff and we're able to solve problems for our customers, but we're able to, basically improve our lifestyles because and I'm able to afford that vacation, because of some of the things you did, or I'm able to put my kids through college, or I'm able to fund my retirement now because of what you built into me, not only through your products, but the time that you gave to us in kind of showing us how to become better business people, better leaders. And I bring guys like you in, you guys are amazing and have done so much for the industries. And I love having you guys at my summit. You guys are getting 2 hours at my summit. No other speaker gets that except for me. But
it's an honor.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
It's an honor to have you guys, because you guys basically have the same philosophy. You build into your customers, you enhance their quality of life. And, it's a beautiful thing to see. And again, when I get that, hey, my business is up 30% because of what you did, it makes it all worthwhile for me.
Yeah,
it is. It's a payoff like no other. When, I keep a cigar box on my desk and I call it my trophy box. And anytime we get a note from a customer or a client, or maybe it's an online comment or something, I'll print it off and just put it in this box. And anytime I'm, kind of losing my focus a little bit, losing the why behind all the hard work and the effort, I'll go through that box and just glance at some of the notes that I've received over the years. And it is amazing to me how it rejuvenates my energy and recenters my focus on why I do what I do, and I'd encourage any business owner listening to, if you're running the kind of business that has a big why behind it, and it's bigger than HVAC systems. It's bigger than, running new plumbing lines in new developments. It's about something bigger than that. And if you can connect with that, you'll find that these notes from customers start coming. And they'll talk about ways that you've impacted their lives, and bigger than just the services that you offer. You're going to get notes from employees, even when they leave. I've got one of those notes that's 3 pages long in the box from an employee who left us, but it was about, upon her leaving, she gave us this note, me and Taylor both, just to tell us what it was like to work for us, and how we invested in her dream and her life, and what she learned from us while she was here. And that's impactful, and gets right down to the reason why we do what we do. And if you're living a life like that, and you're doing business in a way that is about something bigger even than the products and services that you sell or perform, you're going to find that trophy box, for you, is one of the most precious and important things that you possess. It starts to mean more than bigger paychecks or bigger vacations or better cars. It starts to mean,
so true.
it enriches your life in a really powerful way.
And I love that. And we have a big bulletin board on the hallway, and it's got all those notes up on it. And you're right, you draw so much inspiration from that. And when you go, whenever I'm kind of feeling down, or I've had a rough day, I go look at that board and read all the notes of all of our customers that we've received over the years. It's really, but you said something, when this gal, and I think this is really what life is all about, and that's creating those. I think our mutual friend Jerry Eisenhower, CBC Coaching, says creating those magic moments. When we put ourselves in that type of environment, or allow ourselves to be that type of leader, what'll happen is you'll bump into somebody and you'll say something or do something that'll have a profound impact on their life, change the direction of their life, change the direction of their business, and it'll change their world. And that's what Jerry calls those magic moments, where it just literally has such a huge impact on your life. It changes the direction, it changes the face of your business, it changes, the success of your marriage or the success of your business, and it just really has a profound impact on you. And putting yourself in those positions where you can be and have that kind of impact, even on just one person, it makes it all worth it to me.
Yep.
Man, that's so true.
That is so true. John Meredith, this has been a great conversation, and I wish we had more time. I know you're open to people connecting with you. What's the best way for them to do that if they wanted to connect with you?
Just my email address, guys, Carter. It's John M, JOHNM, first name, last initial, at SaverSystems, SAVER Systems, SaverSystems. And just shoot me an email and we'll start a conversation.
Yeah. John M at SaverSystems.com. And
it's SaverSystems, SAV, not B. It's Saver, like shop and save.
Right. I'm sorry. Yeah, I want to make sure I say V.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, sometimes it's
good.
So just want to make that distinction. So,
very good. Yep. And we'll make sure that we link that in the show notes as well, and so people can find it. We always like to end our interview by asking our guest for a quote that has meant something to you in your own business journey. And maybe you can share that quote with us and then tell us what it's meant to you.
Yeah. For me, life's kind of about helping others reach their design potential. So, I think each of us are really just a once in a lifetime historic event that was, designed for greatness and to kind of take whatever mountain you're on. So, one of the things, as a sailor, I grew up racing sailboats. One of my favorite quotes, it's kind of it's an anonymous quote, but it says, if you want to be happy, put your effort into controlling the sails, not the wind. And so each of us, every moment we're alive and every moment we're on the planet, kind of just gives us an opportunity to kind of decide who we want to be. And I found that my successes are very poor teachers, and it's always those challenges that we face in life that make us who we are. My failures as a husband has taught me a lot about love. My failures as a business owners, taught me a lot about relationships, and so all those things kind of make us who we are. So, I've really kind of learned to start enjoying the journey and the process, and to really learn from the pain and not worry about those things that I can't really control, but just control what I can control. And that's my own thought processes and how I prescribe the life and view the world. And, that's really kind of speaks to me in that vein. So.
Yeah, well, that's a great quote. John Meredith, thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.